Conor McGregor is officially withdrawn from the upcoming Irish presidential election. He issued a lengthy statement on X.
Conor McGregor, he's just losing it right now. It feels like he's lost it.
You're in a pub and you're offering a f***ing shot to an old guy and he probably tells you your whiskey's shit. You don't punch him in the face.
He's got like $100 million in the bank. He still wants to fight people, still smacking people at bars.
When you think of Conor McGregor, you probably picture one of the most iconic fighters of all time. The trash talk, the swagger, the left hand that could knock out anyone in seconds. For years, Conor wasn't just a UFC fighter. He was the face of the sport, a global superstar who turned cage fighting into mainstream entertainment. But fast forward to today, and the story looks very different. He's no longer feared inside the octagon, his personal life is surrounded by scandals, and the empire he built is starting to crumble. Conor McGregor's downfall keeps getting worse, and this is the story of how one of the greatest rises in combat sports history turned into one of the messiest falls we've ever seen. Conor's story began in Dublin, Ireland, a young plumber's apprentice who decided to risk everything chasing the fight game. He had nothing, no money, no safety net, just pure belief that he was destined for greatness. And against all odds, he made it. After signing with the UFC in 2013, Conor skyrocketed into superstardom. His press conferences were electric, his one-liners unforgettable, and his knockouts brutal. Fans loved the way he predicted fights with scary accuracy and then delivered. In 2015, he cemented himself as a superstar when he knocked out Jose Aldo, the featherweight king who hadn't lost in a decade, in just 13 seconds. That moment wasn't just a win, it was a cultural shift. The UFC had its new face, and Conor wasn't done. In 2016, he made history again by becoming the first fighter ever to hold 2 UFC belts at the same time, defeating Eddie Alvarez to become the lightweight champion. The notorious era had officially begun. At his peak, Conor had the world in his hands. He transcended MMA and stepped into the boxing ring against Floyd Mayweather in 2017. The fight was the biggest spectacle in combat sports history, generating over $600 million in revenue. Conor lost the fight, but it didn't matter. He walked away with a payday rumored to be over $100 million. He went from welfare checks in Ireland to private jets, yachts, and luxury mansions. But that money changed everything. The hunger that made him unstoppable inside the octagon started fading. Fans began to notice that the fighter who once embodied discipline and obsession was slowly being consumed by ego, excess, and chaos. By 2018, Conor finally returned to the UFC to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, a fight hyped as the biggest in UFC history. Conor trash-talked Khabib relentlessly, insulting his family, his religion, and his culture. The build-up was ugly. But when fight night came, Conor was destroyed. Khabib mauled him for 4 rounds before choking him out. After the fight, Khabib famously jumped the cage and attacked Conor's team, creating one of the wildest post-fight brawls in UFC history. It wasn't just a loss, it was humiliation. The notorious Mystic Mac aura was shattered, but Conor's behavior outside the cage was already spiraling. Earlier that same year, he made headlines for attacking a UFC bus in Brooklyn, which was carrying Khabib's team, throwing a dolly through the window while fighters were inside. The stunt injured multiple fighters, caused fights to be canceled, and nearly got him banned from the sport. Instead of being remembered as the hungry fighter who came from nothing, Conor was now becoming known as the reckless celebrity who couldn't control himself. After the Khabib fight, things only got worse. Conor was arrested for smashing a fan's phone in Miami. He was caught on camera punching an old man in an Irish pub for refusing to drink his proper 12 whiskey. Lawsuits piled up with reports of assaults, lawsuits over damages, and accusations that kept dragging his name through the mud. Every headline seemed to be about his behavior, not his fighting.
Phone down the ground, stomped it in Miami.
Conor McGregor allegedly broke a phone that belonged to a man who wanted to take a picture with him.
The man who once inspired millions was now a walking scandal. In 2021, Conor tried to reignite his fighting career by facing Dustin Poirier in a trilogy fight. But instead of redemption, disaster struck. During the first round, Conor snapped his leg in one of the most gruesome injuries the UFC has ever seen. The image of him sitting on the canvas, screaming at Poirier while doctors held his leg together, was the final symbol of just how far he had fallen. He went from the double champ who knocked out Aldo in 13 seconds to a broken man being carried out of the octagon. And since then, he hasn't fought once. While recovering from his leg injury, Conor bulked up dramatically. Photos of him looking massive started circulating online, with fans and fighters alike accusing him of using steroids. The suspicion grew when it was revealed he had quietly removed himself from the USADA testing pool, something fighters can't do if they're actively competing. It gave the impression that Conor wasn't preparing for a comeback. He was just enjoying his celebrity lifestyle while still trying to stay relevant online. For years, Conor has been teasing a comeback against Michael Chandler. The fight was announced, hyped, and promoted through the Ultimate Fighter reality show. But as of today, the fight still hasn't happened. Excuses, delays, and silence from the UFC have left fans frustrated. Dana White has hinted that Conor simply isn't ready, and some believe he may never truly fight again. The longer he stays out of the cage, the more his legacy fades. Outside the cage, his reputation keeps sinking. In 2023, reports emerged that a woman accused Conor of assaulting her on his yacht. Another ugly headline added to his already long list of controversies.
He doesn't have anything on him, right? No, jewelry or anything.
A woman who accused the mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor of raping her in a hotel in Dublin 6 years ago has won a civil case against him. The jury has found McGregor liable and ordered him to pay Nikita Hand €250,000 in damages.
These aren't small incidents. They're the kind of stories that make sponsors back away, and fans question if he's even worth supporting anymore. So here we are. Conor McGregor, once the biggest name in combat sports, is now a shell of his former self. He hasn't won a meaningful fight in years. His business ventures are overshadowed by lawsuits. His reputation is stained by scandals, violence, and arrogance. The man who once preached hard work and belief is now known more for courtroom drama and social media rants than actual fighting. Conor always said, "We're not here to take part, we're here to take over." And for a time, he did take over. But his own ego and reckless behavior destroyed everything he built. Conor McGregor's downfall isn't just about losing fights. It's about losing discipline, respect, and control. He went from being the hungry fighter with nothing to lose to the arrogant celebrity with everything to lose. And he's losing it all piece by piece. The truth is, Conor McGregor's biggest opponent was never Aldo, Diaz, or Khabib. His biggest opponent was himself. And unless he finds the hunger and humility that made him great, his story won't be remembered as the rise of a legend, but the downfall of one. Because right now, Conor McGregor's downfall keeps getting worse.